Hello there guys and welcome back to the channel. Today we did initial completion run on Act 6 Chapter 2, and for most part actually I enjoyed vast majority of the nodes. Quite many of them were like really interesting, new and refreshing, and we're going to be going over kind of like the global nodes in each of the quests, and then the boss fights, and that's going to be kind of like my initial impressions of it. So first of all, Symbiote Supreme Life Cycle. The defender is immune to damage from debuffs and has shield that prevents them from being knocked out. That's pretty much kind of the main thing, and you can disable that shield whenever you knock them down, and every time you knock them down, that refresh time of that shield kind of increases. However, if the shield is active and you would knock down the champion, he would instead regenerate 10% of his health. So it is quite annoying to deal with initially. So basically you're gonna need champions like Captain America or whatever else relies a lot on heavy attack. So I assume Domino would be really great on this, because you want to knock opponent down several times in the fight before you actually kind of like go and try and kill them. So other than that, nothing too special about this global node. I don't think it's too annoying. We'll see how it works out later on when you have to deal with more specific champions. And the nodes on the first champion wasn't bad at all. It wasn't anything hard in the first quest, at least for the completion bit. Then we're going to take a look at, sorry, I didn't exit. So then let's go and take a look at the second quest. 1 second. So second quest was Mr. Sinister. First of all, Mr. Sinister is going to be a really annoying boss for many people to deal with, and you're going to need like some very specific counters. For most part, unless you have like Heimdall with Angel and Hell's Energy, you're going to be struggling a lot using like Hyperion. Right, so back blast. The attacker's critical damage is doubled. However, if the damage from a critical hit exceeds 3% of the defender's max health, attacker lands 4 or more guaranteed crits throughout the fight. The attacker suffers an incinerate debuff dealing damage equal to their last crit over 5 seconds. Now this was absolute Ghost Fiesta, because Ghost guaranteed crits all the time. You get incinerate debuffs, you do 1 hit, you dash back, you convert them, you do 1 hit, and Ghost absolutely destroyed this entire quest like nobody's business. What other champions are going to be viable? I actually think Corvus would have a really good time over here as well. Despite all the debuffs, he can still kind of like run with his incinerate charges, but I mean, he can still survive with his glaive charges. Other than that, I don't know, we need to do a bit more testing. I just know that I blitzed through this chapter with Ghost insanely quick, and that was like crazy good time. The boss, however, the boss is really annoying, that I hear already many people are complaining about, and that's mainly because it has like EMP modification, so you're gonna be suffering a lot of shock damage, and it's passive, so so that's annoying. And then you have Caustic Temper, so you need a champion that's basically poison immune, shock immune, and has a fury effect. And I don't think there is any like that. Maybe Ghost can deal with it, but it's Mr. Sinister, so he's going to be healing up a lot, so it's definitely going to be an annoying fight. What I did myself is I used the rank 5 5-star Quake with Heimdall and Hellas Energy, and we did manage to one-shot this guy. It wasn't too bad, but I do see this being a problem fight for many different players. So let's go back and check out quest number 3. Quest number 3 was Omega Red Boss. Let's quickly dive in that one. And this chapter, the global node's Icarus. So basically, when the defender is struck, an attacker stunned by a parry, or attacker stunned by the parry, you gain a fury buff, 10%. It's a small fury basically, and it lasts 10 seconds. If this fury expires, you suffer 100% of your health as a degen damage over 4 seconds. If the attacker lands a heavy attack, the fury buffs are removed with no penalty. So you're essentially meant to heavy a lot for most part. However, what I discovered at the last fight, you can also use Ghost, and that fury counts as like an active buff that does damage over time. Therefore, Ghost can convert these into fury buffs. So Ghost is going to be absolutely fantastic for this. Other than that, Quake was doing great for me, and Captain America would be good for this, and basically you just need a champion that can heavy attack a lot. but you can definitely cheese this one with Ghost as well. Despite the appearances, Ghost is perfect for this one as well, so is Quake. And then the boss Omega Red, don't even really remember what he did. I know that I cheesed him really quickly with my Ghost, just because you got such an insane attack over there. But yeah, so it wasn't anything too bad, at least for the initial completion path. We'll see how it is when we go to the gated ones. So that's quest number 3, I think. And then Kingpin 1. Now this node was quite interesting, and how it works, so let's go through the description. So destructive feedback. At the start of the fight, defender gains a kinetic shield, preventing them from taking damage for 10 seconds. And while this shield is active, all damage dealt by the attacker, excluding the damage from special 3 attack, is stored. When the shield expires, the defender takes all stored damage. However, if the defender makes contact with the attacker, the damage is reflected onto them instead. While the shield expires, there's 15-second activation cooldown. So it's a really interesting node. I actually enjoyed it. I think it's quite a cool node design. So anyways, the base idea is they get their kind of kinetic charge shield, kind of similar, let's say, to Black Panther when he's charging the damage you do to him. And then within those 10 seconds while the shield is active, if they do manage to touch you, doesn't matter block or whatever, if they do manage to touch you, you can take all the damage you dealt to them to yourself. However, if you do manage to go 10 seconds dealing damage without getting touched, they take all the damage that was stored there. And then for the next 15 seconds, it's going to be just a regular fight. The shield's on cooldown, nothing's happening. You can hit them as normal, you can parry them as normal, whatever, and then the shield reactivates and again starts storing damage. If you manage to go the 10 seconds without getting touched by opponent, they take all the damage you would have dealt normally. If they do touch you, you take a lot of damage. So that was really interesting. I definitely liked it. And the Kingpin boss wasn't anything special. It's just kind of like fight against Kingpin, more or less. I don't think empowered immunity, stun immunity. So yeah, he's stun immune Kingpin. That's about it. Nothing special over there. Now, next quest, it was a slightly bit harder. The boss had one really annoying node that really kind of bugged me and definitely annoyed me. And so first of all, the global node. Let's take a look at the global node. It's do not go gentle. The attacker gains 1 charge for every 5 hits on the combo meter. When the defender receives damage from any source that would knock them out, basically you take a lot of damage if you have any charges on you, and if you intercept or land a heavy attack, you remove these charges. So for every 5 hits on your combo, you gain a charge. When you intercept, you remove 2 charges. When you land a heavy attack, you remove 1 charge, and that's it. And you, by the time you knock opponent out, you need to make sure you have no charges. It's again quite interesting. I didn't mind that at all. A good note there is that while you use Ghost phasing does work as an intercept, and therefore the Ghost has hardly any problems with this fight. Also, obviously, Captain America Infinity War is going to be great for this. Quake is going to be great for this. So there are quite few decent options. You kind of want champions that heavy attack a lot, or you want to be on point with intercept. And I like this kind of node design just because it kind of enforces just because you can either have suitable counters or you can be skilled to get past it. So I don't mind at all. The Mordo boss has one extremely annoying though. I mean, strength in numbers is horrible for this type of quest, for this type of content, for a boss node. Basically, it says for each member of the attacker's team that is knocked out, the attacker suffers 25% ability attack and ability reduction. So you're gonna have to use team revives for this one in particular. Make sure you reach him alive. So you probably either want to be having like Heimdall synergy and force closing a lot, or I don't know, or just team reviving. I ended up using like a team revive here as well, because yeah, if you don't have your full team, you're gonna get smacked, because like if you're using Ghost, your phasing is gonna fail, you're hardly gonna deal any damage. If you're using Quake, your waves are gonna fail. It's a really annoying node that practically only thing it does to you is kind of enforces spending on you, because you have to make sure that your team is fully kind of revived and alive, or play perfectly. Obviously, if you manage to reach the boss without losing any single champion, hey, good on you. Aside from that, there's Spite, which is annoying, but that's about it. Nothing else is too annoying. So Spite and Strength in Numbers. Strength in Numbers is going to be definitely annoying, especially when you're going to be doing harder paths. it's just gonna practically put like some sort of forcing spend limit on you. But yeah, so there's that. I did not like that forcing numbers. The rest of it would be fine. I do enjoy the global node. The boss node is annoying. And the final champion and the final quest, they didn't have a global node as far as I could see anyways. Not for the easy path. And no, they have like a local node greater than no, that's a local. There's no global basically. So yeah, final quest has no global. However, there are many links on the map, and you can like kind of choose when you want to unlink him. And then there is obviously the champion boss. The champion boss actually squeezed out quite a bit of units from me. And before you do attempt to do this boss, aside from finding suitable counters, definitely do practice to wait to kind of like block or evade his special attacks in a sense where you can trigger your dexterity. I struggled with it a bit. It took me actually kind of like 3-4 tries to deal the last 10% of the damage. For the first bit, for the first 3 phases, I just used Quake. I didn't even exactly read what the champion does. I just kind of used Quake. The regeneration was a bit out of hand, so eventually I died once, and then when you go back in the second time with Quake, you can just kind of carry on, and that regen isn't going to be nowhere near as bad because his regen depends on the damage dealt to him in the fight. So, but yeah, so anyways, I used Quake for first 3 phases. Last 10% was Captain America Infinity War, and the last phase actually got to me a bit. It was that annoying. I don't think it's practically good game design. Maybe I'm missing something. Maybe I'll find some better answers to it soon, but they are my thoughts of the initial completions, that I'm definitely not a fan at all for the last 10% of this champion. I know Seaton managed to clear it really easy. It's good on him. So Symbiote Supreme is a great answer for this. Definitely easy, kind of first 90%. I used Quake. We'll see if we can come up with any more counters. But overall, aside from that Mordo, where is strength in numbers, aside from the champion design, and possibly like Mr. Sinister on Caustic Temper, I don't think it's too bad for the initial completion. There are a few problems, but overall I think you can get by fairly cheaply to complete it. To explore it, we're going to find out soon, because I'm going to be attempting to do that basically by this weekend, so stay tuned. There are going to be some streams, there are going to be some videos coming on 6.2. Anyways, I hope you guys found this video useful, and I'm going to see you guys soon. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe buttons, and share it with your friends. See ya.